Hello, clients and taxpayers. I wanted to discuss my tax organizer. So if you are already working with me, most likely you got an email that contained a PDF copy of this organizer. If you're not working with me and interested, reach out and I'll send you one of these organizers. Basically what this is, it allows you to kind of recap your year, make sure you're not missing anything. Basic info, not always necessary. But if you are new, I need to know the basics. Where do you live? What's your name spelled out? Your socials, your date of birth, that kind of thing. Next, I have a questionnaire. Pretty straightforward yes or no questions. Were you a citizen or did you live in a foreign country? Are you a member of military? Did you have any bankruptcies? Energy efficient cars? So a lot of questions, yes or no's. A lot of them probably won't pertain to you. But if they do, most likely there's something on the tax return that we need to get done or address. Most of you, if you do work with me, I don't need necessarily this tax organizer, but I do always like to provide it as I wasn't with you for the full year. I know what has happened only when you tell me something different has changed, new jobs, new purchases, whatever it may be. But since I'm not with you throughout the year, I can only pick up where we left off in the prior year, and I can only go off the information that you now gave me. So this organizer is I think pretty important to look at each year because things do change. Maybe you bought a home, little things like families will forget to tell me that they had a second kid and we have to add another, name to the tax return. So the organizer is pretty helpful. After we go through the basic info, the questionnaire, income. I'm just asking, where did you make money? Did you have any retirement distributions? Maybe because of COVID, you had to draw from your 401k. Again, all incomes I need to know about. Next, all deductions. If you're a homeowner, property tax, mortgage interest, that sort of stuff is very much deductible. Possibly your medical expenses if you exceed, the threshold, which is 7.5% of your income. The idea with medical expenses, if you say made $100,000, the 7.5%, which would be $7,500. If you had $10,000 in medical expenses, the only amount that we can deduct is the difference over that 7.5%. So if you had 10 grand in medical expenses and your AGI was 100 grand, well, anything above the 7,500 we could take as a write-off. So again, if you had 10 grand in medical expenses, only 2,500 is being taken as a write-off. Since the big tax reform a couple years ago, most people are taking the standard deduction. So just keep that in mind, but it's definitely something I like to look at each year because things might change. You might have had a refi, paid a lot more in interest, et cetera, things like that. Finally, on my organizer, estimated payments, kind of a tax preparation checklist and making sure we go over everything in regards to stimulus payments and what's been going on with COVID. So this is very helpful for both of us, more so you rather than me, because I know the questions to ask you based off the information I have. I know the questions to ask based off what's been going on in the current year. But things like, the electric car, solar credit, whatever it might be, unless I'm prompted, I'm not going to ask you about it. So it's important that you really do a nice recap of the year to make sure we're not missing anything when it comes time to file. If we do miss something, not the end of the world, we can file an amended return, but we always want to prepare the most accurate return out of the gate. That way we don't have to deal with an amendment. Amended returns sometimes need to be paper filed and it takes a long time to go through right now. Outside of my organizer, this is an engagement letter. I am pretty proud of myself for getting this done this year and implemented. Really just lays out the term of the agreement, my expectations for you and what you can expect from working with me. Pretty straightforward. It's it's not binding or anything, but it does allow us to set expectations. Really, this is to protect you and to protect me. But if you do read it and you have any concerns about it, just let me know. But again, this engagement letter is for the both of us to enter this working relationship. Outside of that, I have my fee schedule. Again, I try to be very transparent with my fees. I don't like nickeling and diming. I like setting a a fee for the year. You pay me once, that's it. Of course, some stuff does come up, amended returns, extensive planning, business formations, correspondence with IRS, whatever it may be. But for the most part, I really only like to charge you once a year. I'm not in the business of nickel and diming you. I'm not in the business of swindling in any way, which is why I created this fee structure. I really care about transparency. In my business, it's not a one-size-fits-all, which makes it difficult to bill. But I put a lot of time into this, my fee structure for this year. So you should feel happy about what you're paying me, because I assure you my rates are competitive. But if for whatever reason you're not happy, let's address it. I'm not in the business of free work, but I very much understand hardship and am understanding. So anyways, I just like to address that. If you would like to work with me this year, please reach out. If you're already working with me this year, thank you. Looking forward to getting your return done. And happy tax paying. Thank you for watching. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.